everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, May the 20th. It's the second jewel in racing's Triple Crown, the Grade 1 $1.5 million Preakness Stakes. Of course, they're 3-year-olds and they're going 1 mile and 3/16. Mike and I are here at Pimlico. Right behind us, Mage is going to hope to streak under that finish line on his way to Belmont Park for a potential Triple Crown bid.
Yeah, listen, he was awful good taking the step forward at the Kentucky Derby 2 weeks ago, Dan. He also maybe caught a couple of breaks here coming up on Saturday. Nobody is returning from that Kentucky Derby to take him on again.
Please scan or click the QR code for past performances now for this edition of the Preakness Stakes. And as we take a look at the field, the story of the race, the horse of the hour is Mage, and he did a lot in the Kentucky Derby. Considering his lack of experience, he didn't break well. He was in behind horses, but you know something? He was traveling like a winner every step.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dad. I mean, the Kentucky Derby's notoriously hard on horses like Mage, who go into that race with little experience and have to face a big field of horses surrounding him. He sort of seemed like maybe for the first time in his life, he was kind of unfazed by it. He always traveled strongly. Big move at the top of the stretch and came running at the end to close it down.
Let's throw up our Timeform US pace projector because Mage does have a tendency to break slow, and if he does, he might be near the back of this field. Now, a big long shot, the number 4 Coffee with Chris, is expected to make the pace according to the projector. I wonder if the one National Treasure for Bob Baffert, breaking from the rail with blinkers, goes for it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Dan. I would like to see him show some speed in one of these races. I keep feeling like when I watch his replays, especially after the debut, it feels like he has speed, but they're just not trying to use it. But maybe he's just not that fast.
Baffert's experimented with blinkers throughout National Treasure's career. In his career debut, he won. In the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the blinkers came on. He ran third to the 2 best 2-year-olds in the country, Forte and Cave Rock. He ran okay that day. He's just been behind the 8 ball this year. He started out in the Sham, and you know something? Didn't really have the greatest trip in that race. Missed the San Felipe to a foot issue. Had to run in the Santa Anita Derby off the layoff, and had a little bit of trouble there too.
Yeah, a little bit of an excuse, I guess, in the Sham off the layoff. That's another one of those races where I felt like they could have gone forward with him. They didn't. His stablemate made the lead. This horse got a little bottled up on this stretch. I guess he ran okay there. I liked the Santa Anita Derby. It was a fast race. I don't think he had a huge excuse there, Dan. I liked the way he was staying on at the end. It makes me feel like longer is going to be better for him.
He does have a grinding style. While Mage has an explosive burst of speed, a horse like National Treasure, it seems to take him a while to get going, and I think we saw that in the Santa Anita Derby. He was wide for much of the way in that Santa Anita Derby, and the 1-2 finishers rode the rail for many of the race. The 2 is Chase the Chaos. This horse's big victory came in the El Camino Real Derby, a win you're in for the Preakness. That race, of course, came on the Tapeta surface at Golden Gate Fields. His 2 subsequent races have not been good.
They haven't been good, and one of those was back on dirt in the San Felipe 2 starts back, and he was just awful in that race, a non-factor at a big price. So we'll see if he's going to be able to run not only his best race on this surface, Dan, but he's got to improve by a lot anyway.
Mage was not only visually impressive, breaking slow in the Derby, racing in behind horses down on the rail early, then in behind horses on the backstretch before unleashing that big wide sweeping move and sustaining it all the way to the wire over a 2 fills. But he got a fast figure, a 105. He's so lightly raced, you can project a similar mover. It's scary, even improvement.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if he improves in this race, this field's in very big trouble. He was super impressive winning the Derby. Listen, he had a pace in front of him that day. He had a clean run into it. I get that those things worked in his favor. He also ran a very big race. This is a horse who flashed potential right from the start. He had things go against him in the 2 losses to Forte. Put it all together last time.
The local hope is the 4 Coffee with Chris, and you got to root for a horse like this. A Maryland bred that only sold for $2,000 as a yearling. He started 12 times, and distance was always the big question for Coffee with Chris. He did stretch out to win the 1-turn Miracle Wood. He was a game second in the private terms, going 2 turns. Last time out in the Federico Tessio, though, I wonder if the 1 1/8 saw him out.
It feels like the longer the distance doesn't really help this horse. He did take pressure on the lead last time. It's not like that was a super slow pace, Dan. Maybe it's enough of an excuse. I still don't like his races going longer. I think he's better going shorter.
If the pace is fast, a Silky Sullivan Strike the Gold type. From the back of the pack is the 5, Red Route 1. Let's watch him run him down last time at Oaklawn in a stakes race. This is a horse with no early speed. He got a setup at Oaklawn. The pace was fast, and he ran him down late. He's had some ability in the past in major races where he's come up a little bit short. Give him pace, he'll run on.
His races are okay. If he catches a setup, you'll know him at the end of the race, I suppose. He got the job done last time with some class relief. It's not like he improved big time in that race, though, Dan. He just ran the same figure he always runs, and he just got there. He also had Lasix on for that. It has to come right back off. If that led to the improvement, he's in big trouble.
The number 6 Perform had to be supplemented to this race for $150,000. He's coming into it off 2 consecutive victories, both of his starts around 2 turns, and he overcame some trouble in the Tessio. Let's watch this race. Virgo Lynch had him down towards the inside. He's got to weave his way through traffic, and somehow, some way, he gets up at the wire.
This is a pretty big run this horse puts in. He was in a lot of traffic around the final turn, into the upper stretch, couldn't get that seam. He finally got it. He really ran and even kept that momentum up as he altered off the inside late. This was a big performance for this horse. 2 for 2 since they got him out around 2 turns. He was okay going shorter, landed in some really tough maiden races along the way, and he has more speed than he showed in his last 2 starts, Dan. There are things to like about this horse.
Chad Brown's done this before, Mike, with horses that have skipped the Derby. They show up fresh in the Preakness and they make hay. He's going to try it again with the 7 Blazing Sevens, a horse that won the Grade 1 Champagne over a sloppy track as a 2-year-old. He was an okay 4th in the Breeders' Cup. His Fountain of Youth was terrible, and you had to be very concerned after that race. He was a little bit better last time out in the Bluegrass, and I wonder if he's slowly racing himself into shape.
I think that's probably the way to look at him if you want to bet him in this race. We'll see what kind of price you can get on him. It's not a very big field. It's not like he can get lost in here, Dan. He does appear to be training very forwardly into this, though. He did take the step forward last time. I think the best thing about him maybe is what you mentioned when we started talking about him, though. Chad Brown's done this before. He might have this horse sitting on go for this race.
One of the wise guy horses in the race completes the field. 5-2 on the morning line for the progressive number 8 First Mission. Only 3 starts, but 2 for 2 around 2 turns, including this victory in the Grade 3 Lexington, a race in which he looked like he was in a little bit of trouble turning into this short stretch, but he dove down inside. He was very late to change leads. I think he gained valuable experience from this race. He can get forward going into the first turn.
I agree. There could be a good trip coming for him here. I like what he did overall last time. That everything really kind of worked out for him, though, Dan. He got a really good trip in that race. He worked really hard to stay in it. The runner-up who was on the lead there left the rail wide open for him. I think Irad wanted him to come up the inside, and then he tried to make it tight. This horse didn't care. He came through. He got the job done. Actually ran a fast race as well. His last 2 wins, both very impressive. A lot of upside.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for the Grade 1 Preakness. You're hoping that we're here at Belmont Park in 3 weeks, looking for a Triple Crown. You're going with Mage.
Yeah, I think Mage got a lot going for him in this race. It didn't come up the strongest Preakness we've ever seen. He took the big step forward last time. All he needs is a trip in this race, and I think he's really, really tough to beat. I like the horse you have on top, and I put him second.
I'm going to be the party pooper with National Treasure. He's got tactical speed, blinkers on. I think this horse has always shown a hint of ability, and I like the fact that he's coming into this race fresh. Mage, though, is the story heading into this year's Preakness. Good luck.